You know, everybody today got to realize we're the most privileged people that have ever lived because we're living in the most exciting, the most creative, the most dynamic, the most evolutionary time the world has ever seen. Also, the most scary and dangerous time the world has ever seen. So we're entering such a new thing. And what's excited me was that things that have been building in the past have now finally become out into the public. And one of the main one was that in this fall of 2008, when the American stock market went down and the whole world reacted, no longer could we believe in separate interests. In other words, we're entering globalization, and that affects all of us individually. And that's why I say that this is a time when we have to re-examine a lot of things. That's why I start every day with meditation. And you know, I forgot about doing that. I was going to start this with a meditation. Well, meditation is not what most people think it is. It's not calling on a God out there. To me, I take a bath every morning, a psychic bath. In other words, I sit down and I just deliberately drop every personal sense, drop all my problems. I'll pick them up again later on, but right now for this time I'm going to get cleansed of them so that I'm back to my essential being. Then during the day I deal with human problems and put all that personal sense back on. But every day I take that priority of taking that bath first. In other words, when we want peace, we think, well, let's go drop bombs. In other words, let's take an objective approach to it. Whereas a subjective approach would be, first let's sit down and subjectively think of what keeps people from having peace. Poverty, illness, lack of education. So, well then if I want peace, build hospitals, build schools, and so forth. And so in our daily work, whether it's in a job out in the commercial market or in our relationships, we have to now first find that peace. Now, I wrote my first book over 40 years ago, and it was called The Double Thread. And I didn't realize how it was the beginning, for me personally, of globalization, because it said that I just wanted to say nothing's either or. I'm not a man of earth or a man of God. I'm both, and they're not the same. And my job is to get those two me's communicating and on the same page. And so that's what we're doing in globalization. East is east and west is west, and never the twain shall meet. Doesn't work anymore. It's all one. And that's not just a globalization out there, it's the globalization that's taking place within ourselves, where we accept our whole being. You know, I've always felt that the real secret of the message of the philosopher Jesus has been ignored or not given the real importance, was that he gave us an apparent duality as a way of having a true non-duality. He said, love the invisible, the cause, God, and love neighbor, which is the effect, which is the visible. And so that means that there's always the two. And when you can love both of them perfectly, they're like each other. In other words, when I can love my human self and love my divine self, both, then they're one. And so that's what we're always dealing with. And it involves things that we wouldn't even be aware of. For instance, everybody in this room is aware of what is it, Proposition 8, or what's it called?
Yeah.
All right. So how do I then, if I'm talking about the double thread, being both man of earth and man of God, does that mean that I'm just going to be spiritual or I'm just going to take action? No, it means both. And we have to do both. So then how do we do both? Well, we were also given a priority. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Seek ye first. Wait a minute. Those two commandments also mean the subjective approach and the objective approach. I have so many things I want to say all at once that I'm having a hard time putting it. But because I see the signs of it, and it really excites me. This election we've had with Obama excites me for what I'm talking about, because we have always had the subjective, which is the invisible, the principle side, and then we've had the objective side. But our society has always had it reversed. They've always put the objective first. In other words, the bottom line. Get those results. How to get them is second to getting them. But now that's all shifting. Not only in taking action, but in our politics. Because to me, by electing Obama, we are electing a universal man. He's black and white, he's Oriental and Occidental, and his philosophy is more subjective than objective. And so we face that in our own lives. So back to Proposition 8, we have two approaches. One is we don't do nothing, we don't ignore it, but we have a priority. Seek ye first the subjective reality. Don't poison yourself. In other words, release it, trust in the divine plan. I have what I call my club is the TTP club, trust the process. And so I have to first of all find that center within me where I don't feel threatened, where I feel that I have that within me that's going to come out all right. Then when I'm anchored in that, then with that in consciousness, I'll go and protest or do whatever it is. But I don't protest in a way that's going to poison me, and I'm defeating myself to begin with. And so in all of life, that is, to me, choose first. Now, our society has always done the other way.